Hello, my name is Ekaterina Smith, and I will be presenting an overview of humanism and its ties to learning. The following topics will be addressed in this presentation: background and history, knowledge and memory, the learning process, motivation, implication for learning, and an overview of the resources utilized. Humanism was developed in the 1960s and has deep roots in the study of humans, dignity, freedom, and potential. Humanism calls for the strong desire to examine the person as a whole. It is often described as contrasting behaviorism because they are on the opposite ends of the learning theory spectrum. In humanism, it is believed that humans have the capacity and ability to grow, change, and develop while having the volition to make their own decisions. Merriam and Barima, 2014, stated that a person's desires, wants, and needs is the primary focus. Maslow further explored a human being's desire to become everything they're capable of becoming. The key proponents of humanism were Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. The humanistic learning theory has strongly impacted adult learning theory. This includes andragogy, self-directed learning, and transformative learning as well. Humanistic psychologists believe that inner feelings and self-image both share strong ties with an individual's behavior. It goes on to say that each individual is unique and has that will and power to change throughout their lifespan. Carl Rogers focused on adult educators with a client-centered therapy approach and established the student-centered versus the teacher-centered method. During the student-centered approach, the educator serves as the facilitator to promote student engagement and learning by allowing them to take charge of their education. The student's desire, motivation, and willingness to learn must come from within themselves. Carl Rogers also emphasized the importance of becoming a lifelong learner. Learning is very individualized and unique. In humanism, great emphasis is placed on affective and cognitive domains. Humanism can also be described as an optimistic and idealistic approach. Humanism suggests that an individual should free themselves of any boundaries and have that freedom to choose and create their own learning plan. This can actually include how, what, and when they learn. To simply define learning, it is the acquiring of skills or knowledge through being taught, studying, or experience. This quote speaks volumes, and it is presented in the Knowles textbook in 2015. Learning plays a big role in changing and shaping an individual, which helps them to adapt to their environment. Harris and Schwann of 1961 stated that learning is basically change that is caused by an experience. Maslow explored this topic even further by suggesting that the goal of learning is to actually reach self-actualization, which will encourage the individual the full utilization of their potential and talents. Technology is extremely prevalent in the 21st century. There's definitely a learning curve to proficiently and competently use different types of technology and software. This process may be uniquely difficult for some and second nature for others. Technology may be viewed as a helpful resource or even a roadblock depending on the learner. The generation of the learner may strongly contribute to the preference for the use of technology. Most educators share a vital goal, which includes utilizing methods that result in the most effective learning for their students. This goal always requires frequent change, adaptation to the environment, and redesigning so that others learn as deeply and efficiently as possible. And this was presented in Sawyer 2014, page 1. The goal is to make sure that the learner is gathering deep knowledge instead of just surface learning, and then be able to apply that knowledge in the world around them. A pivotal goal for the learning sciences is to help identify what practices are the most important based on the characteristics of a group of students in order to engage them, help them learn, all while designing an age-appropriate learning environment without compromising the authenticity of the actual professional practice. And this was presented in Sawyer 2014. Humanism has strong ties to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The famous Maslow's pyramid has 5 tiers of human needs, demonstrating the needs of an individual in order of priority. Maslow's theories focus on the idea that humans are strongly motivated by needs, which are in place in order of that priority. Maslow's hierarchy of needs describes motivation as meeting each level of the pyramid in order to promote development and survival. Basic needs are on the first level and definitely take priority in the very beginning. Once this level is reached and mastered, they lose their power as motivators, and the individual begins to strive to satisfy those higher level needs. It is important to note that Maslow strongly encourages to assess comfort, health, and emotional stability to ensure that those topics are in check before proceeding with the learning. Maslow's pyramid is built on physiological, safety, love, belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization needs. Reaching self-actualization is definitely the priority goal. Humanism explores this further by stating that individuals have that internal drive to strive to reach self-actualization by working through their own capabilities and talents. Formative assessment allows the educator to pause, assess the student's progress and understanding of concepts, and then make decisions to improve the learning process while it is actively going on. Unlike summative evaluation, which assesses learning at the completion, formative evaluation provides numerous unique opportunities to reflect on the student's knowledge and grasping of information, and allows the educator or facilitator to strategically alter teaching tactics if needed. Formative evaluation can improve teaching and make it potentially more effective. Formative assessment does not have to be a standardized or high-stakes exam. If the humanism approach is being utilized, one method to complete an assessment is to stop the learning process, pose a few critical thinking questions to the students, and then allow them the opportunity to answer those questions in a variety of formats, such as paper, electronically, or maybe even verbally in a small group of peers. Asking students to privately journal what they're learning and how they're feeling about it allows them to internally evaluate themselves in the learning process. This journaling can also be shared with the instructor to receive more detailed feedback. A third method is to provide an opportunity for the students to evaluate themselves, either internally or out loud, and encourage them to place a greater emphasis on their strengths instead of their weaknesses. One study examined 283 BSN nursing students' experiences of clinical anecdotal notes as an effective form of formative feedback in the clinical setting. The majority of students valued verbal as well as anecdotal note feedback and especially preferred to receive feedback before their next learning experience. This is one benefit of conducting a formative assessment during that actual learning process. This study came from Quantz in a 2016 peer-reviewed journal. To conclude, humanism believes on focusing on the individual and their needs as they grow and evolve through the learning process. Humanism plays a pivotal role in learning theories. To conclude this presentation, this is the reference slide. 4 different resources were utilized to complete this project. Thank you for your time.